Welcome to my first ever YouTube video. My name is Chris, my gamer tag is Pradeem1, and as I create this video I'm a member of the Legion family of clans. This video is called 100 Battles in the Jagdtiger 8.8cm Snowstorm edition. This is the first of my 100 Battles in series where I take a tank and play 100 battles in it. I do this because I believe you need at least that many games in a tank to really get to know its subtleties, which you may miss if you only play it occasionally. The Jagdtiger is identical in every way to the Tier 9 version, except the gun. Instead it carries the same cannon as the Tiger II, but manages to fire it 12 times a minute instead of 8. Historically, it was a tank that was used by the Germans at the end of the war, and it was equipped with this smaller gun as they were running out of the larger version. Now this is the view that a level 8 enemy will get of the front of this tank. As you can see, they have a great chance of penetrating your lower glasses. Now most of the heavy tanks can penetrate the upper glasses, and some of the tank destroyers can penetrate around your gun mounting. So it's certainly not the sort of tank you can stand out in the open and just blast away with, although with a suitable hold down position and your flanks covered you can outgun your opponent due to the ferocity of your weapon. Now talking of flanks, this is a view of the side of the Jagdtiger as seen from just a level 4 tank. So getting isolated and going one-on-one with any kind of fast-moving tank will probably end badly for me. The gun has a poor 7 degrees of gun depression and only 15 degrees of elevation. It isn't fast in a straight line, or more importantly when trying to turn on the spot. So in summary, I think I'm going to have my work cut out. However, it does have a +1, -2 matchmaking bias, so I won't meet any tier 10s and I'll see a lot of tier 6s. Finally, before I start, the ground rules. I won't platoon at all during these 100 battles, and I'll refrain from using premium ammo unless it's the only viable option to penetrate. And I'll keep a running cost of the credits that this tank makes. It is, after all, a premium. Okay, let's move out. Well, that was average. I've played 10 battles so far, won 5, lost 5. My first impressions are that the gun is deadly, but the tank turns like a brick. So, like I said, if it gets isolated, it is more than likely dead. It's made 231,000 credits, which is okay, but not great by any measure for a premium tank. But still, it's early days. So I'll speak to you again after 50 battles. This is not going well. Bit embarrassing really, only 24 wins out of 50. Just a 48% win rate. Okay, it's gained me over 1.1 million credits, but disappointing so far. I think my aggressive gameplay style is getting me into trouble to the point where I'm getting isolated far too often, caught in those one-to-one slugging matches that I mentioned earlier, and getting flanked as a result. Also, bizarrely, I think in some ways that the positive matchmaking bias works against this tank. And what I mean is that when you are the highest tier, you're kind of expected to lead from the front, to be aggressive. Now, with the enemy level 6s being able to penetrate your sides and rear quite easily, and being generally quite quick, you can get into trouble before you know it. And then if you die, your team, which can be inexperienced, will throw away any advantage that you may have gained, especially if the enemy level 8 tank knows how to play properly. So I'm going to try something drastic. I'm going to sell this gun laying drive, and I'm going to buy a camouflage net instead. And also I'm going to try to curb my more aggressive gameplay style and see how it goes. So, back after 100 games. Well, I finally completed my first 100 battles in the Jagdtiger 8.8cm Snowstorm edition, and the second half has certainly been much better than the first. I won 35 battles out of the 50 at a 70% win rate, and at one point I won 14 battles in a row. My total for the 100 battles being 59 wins, which Blitz strangely records as 58%, and my total winnings were 2.6 million credits. So overall, a good first experiment. I'm glad I played 100 battles, as doing so helped me to get a real feel for the tank. So my conclusions? Well, I would call it a typical quarterback tank. And what I mean is that it needs the protection of the team. If you can sit in the pocket of your team, not leading from the front, even if you are the highest tier, but instead nestling just behind the heavies, and then you'll get a chance of really doing some damage with your great gun. So the first thing you do at the start of a battle is wait. See where the majority of your team are heading. Try to influence them if you can, but then follow them. Never go off alone. Don't try to hold a flank. Don't snipe so far back that you become isolated. Don't try to punch down the middle. Just hang back, just behind the leading edge of your team, and when the enemy are engaged, get in a good position, hold down, side scraping a building, and pop away. One trick that you can use in this tank, because of its fast firing gun, is to wait for the enemy who doesn't know how to side scrape to slide their front of the tank out from behind the cover of a building, and then ping his front tracks, immobilize him, and then keep him there with your steady rolling of fire until you or your team finish him off. This quarterback strategy helps to avoid the circle of death merchants. Even if you just have one tank buddy close by, that should be enough. So in conclusion, I have to admit that on balance this tank is hard for me to enjoy, because I'm by very nature an aggressive player, and to play this tank properly you have to be, as I've explained, more cautious. So if that's your favourite playing style, then this tank could be good for you. It's okay at making credits, but not as great as my AT-15A. It gives a good amount of experience per battle, but not as much as the KV-5 or the Type 59. And finally, it is very expensive. To pick it up from the tech tree when it's not on offer will set you back around £19, which is about €25, $27. Right, that's the end of this episode. I'll probably work my way through the tech tree gold tanks in my next few 100 battles. Thanks for watching. If there's any particular tanks that you want to see on 100 battles in future, then let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe and check out my other videos, the Mastery series and the Mission series. See you soon.